Hey, look, bro, I understand. Losing weight is kind of hard, but here's 2 hacks that can help speed up the process. So it's generally known that losing weight is based on one simple factor. You gotta have more calories going out than you have coming in, meaning you have to be burning more calories than you're consuming. But most of us know this is easier said than done. The types of food you consume are equally as important as the amount of calories they consume. What? God damn. The food consuming themselves. The types of food you consume are equally as important as the amount of calories they contain. Replace your morning carbs with fruits. Now look, I get it. Over the years, fruit has gotten a bad rap because of the sugar content. Now, if you think that's the same type of sugar that's in this or this, I'm sorry to say, you've been misled. Now, while sugar has been strongly associated with obesity, studies around fruit consumption has yielded results to the contrary. Most types of fruits have anti-obesity effects, despite the sugar content. And this anti-obesity effect is due in large part to the following mechanisms. Things like decreased total calorie intake, which is a result of these foods having less calories by volume. The inherent micronutrients you get with fruits like antioxidants, vitamins, and minerals, non-essential phytochemicals, which are chemicals that are not essential for sustaining life, but have protective and disease-preventing properties. Modulation in gut ecology due to the high fiber content, and my personal favorite, undiscovered mechanisms. We'll double back and touch on that later. Replace your afternoon carbs with potatoes. Well, I heard potatoes were bad for you. Well, not necessarily. Actually, not at all. While some studies have linked the consumption of potatoes to weight gain and adverse health effects, many of these studies failed to specify the preparation type, meaning that these studies were literally skewed by people consuming French fries, potato chips, baked potatoes, mashed potatoes, and things of that nature. Now I know what you might be thinking. What's wrong with mashed potatoes or baked potatoes? Well, for one, I highly doubt people are eating baked potatoes straight out of the oven. I think we can agree that there's a lot of people that eat their baked potatoes with the works. We're talking butter, sour cream, cheese, bacon bits, the works. And I'd also go out on a limb to say that these aren't your ordinary boiled and mashed potatoes plain. Are we talking your granny's favorite mashed potatoes on Thanksgiving? We don't know. The studies didn't specify. But in the black and white verbiage of the studies themselves, some of these participants were consuming potato chips, French fries. Not anything I would recommend anybody to eat when they're trying to lose weight. I mean, of course you're gonna gain weight or fail to lose weight if you're eating French fries and chips. I say all this to say, take these studies with a grain of salt, because by failing to mention how this food was prepared, you overshadow and take away from the health benefits of the potato. In reality, through science-based studies, potatoes have been shown to have high levels of anti-inflammatory properties, anti-obesity effects due to high satiety caused by high levels of fiber, and more potassium than a banana. All right, now let's talk takeaways. How can we use this information? All right, so real quick, I want to double back to the undiscovered mechanisms we went over when we talked about fruit in hack number 1. I think it's no coincidence that foods like this that come directly from the earth to your table are effective at helping you lose and manage weight. And foods that require human processing to even exist makes you fatter and makes it harder to manage your weight. Hey, look, bro, I'm no doctor, but I believe that everything we need to thrive on this earth comes from the earth itself. So to the original point, I think undiscovered mechanisms is just Mother Nature herself. I also believe there's a lot of misinformation surrounding natural foods like these that's a part of a much larger marketing scheme that's designed to draw you away from managing your health and your fitness through diet and healthy foods like this, and draw you closer to managing your health through supplements and medicine, which allows them to jump right into your pockets. And I mean, it makes perfect sense. A supplement company would much rather recommend a fiber supplement than a red potato or a sweet potato to keep you fuller longer. And they would also recommend you buy a multivitamin than to eat more fruits. So that's the 2 hacks I got for y'all, man. Replace your carbs in the morning with fruits, and replace them in the afternoon and evening with potatoes. Now you can use any type of potatoes. Red potatoes, sweet potato, jicama, Okinawan sweet potato, white potato, russet potato, golden potato. You can really use any potato. And you can also use any fruit. Now I know somebody gonna be in the comment section talking about, is that organic? That looks like a seedless watermelon. That's not healthy for you. Look, bro, when I went to the grocery store, I was looking for organic seeded watermelon. They didn't have it. They didn't have organic watermelons. And the few seeded watermelons they had were clearly over-ripened. So this is what I got. Look, bro, don't be so fixated on minor details that it just completely derails you from your whole game plan. Just because I went to the store and they didn't have the specific fruit I was looking for, that don't mean I'm just gonna abandon my whole game plan. Like, oh, looks like I can't do it today. Bro, you gotta learn how to be able to pivot and make some shit work. You know what I'm saying? That's one of the things I love about fruit. You can't really get tired of it. I could eat grapes for a couple days. If I were to get tired of grapes, which, I mean, who really gets tired of grapes? I could switch to strawberries. If I get tired of them or run out of strawberries, I could switch to pears. Then I could switch to watermelon. You also have your seasonal fruits like mangoes and papayas. I mean, the combinations are endless. But by replacing your carbs with fruits in the morning, you lower your overall caloric intake. And number two, it takes less calories to get that feeling of being full. So basically, you can eat a bunch of fruit, which will result in a smaller caloric intake than another food like cereal, for instance. Meaning the amount of cereal you would have to eat in order to feel full would result in a much higher calorie intake than fruit. Same goes for potatoes. But I thought potatoes were starchy. Well, they are, but starches are also carbohydrates. Complex ones at that. They help you feel fuller longer. They have lower calories by volume. Tons of nutrients. So long story short, don't be like those Harvard guys. Prepare your potatoes like somebody who's actually trying to lose weight, which actually isn't as hard as it sounds. I linked some recipes in the description.